Hey everyone, am I audible? Hello. Can you just say hi in the chat so that I'll know if in case I'm audible or not? Uh, Currently, I'm in Sisu, Himachal Pradesh, and I'm not feeling well. I've already had some motion sickness, so it's like I'll just remove it, but I'm feeling very cold. It's like -4 degrees Celsius. Let's complete this in next 30 to 40 minutes so that we can cover up few question and answers, and I can also take some rest, hopefully. Please confirm if in case you're able to hear me, and if in case you have any questions, probably you can get started with the questions. I'll also demonstrate few of the proposals that I submitted in Google Summer of Code, which got shortlisted. So let me know if in case you have any questions first. I'll probably wear this back, it's too cold. Any questions, or should we proceed with the proposal? Hi Arpit, I'm sorry for the voice. If in case the voice is not that loud, can you just confirm if my voice is loud enough? Because I'm currently sick. I sir, I'm still writing the proposal. Okay, fine. But if in case you have any questions, right? Let's suppose when you're writing the proposal, you might have some questions. So probably you can share those questions. Thank you, Arpit, for confirming. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll start off with, is it mandatory to keep portfolio? Your whatever proposal you're creating, right? That proposal itself is your portfolio. I mean, that itself is your portfolio. My organization said not to contact mentors. So this might happen. Like suppose if there are few organization which has limited mentors, probably they might not allow you to contact them. So how can I get it reviewed? So let's do one thing, Arpit. What you can do is upload your proposal in a Drive link and send the Drive link in the chat so that I'll review it and I'll give you the feedback from my end. So meanwhile, what I'll do is I'll just give a brief overview. If someone who is want to create the proposal for the first time, how do you create? What are the points that you need to submit? I'll share those details. So let me add the screen. So can you guys confirm if you are able to see my proposal? Just yes or no should also be fine. Yes, thank you. So usually, right, let's suppose you are creating the proposal for first time. What are you supposed to cover? First thing is each organization has contributor guidelines template. You just have to search for your organization name, contributor guidelines template. If they have the template, you're supposed to use the same template. For example, when I contributed to Red and Lab, they had their own contribution template, which I was supposed to use. So if you notice at this format, I used overleaf in order to create it, right? So now what we can do is first it should be you need to enter some background details, what the project is about, what is the summary of it, and if in case you need to share your any other links. Let's suppose if my project is related to fine tuning an LLM, that means having a Hugging Face account is very relevant, right? So in your case, GitHub can be most relevant, Kaggle can be most relevant. So you just add your profile where you have some work that you can showcase. So that will be the contributor guidelines. And then these are the remaining details, like birthplace was in terms of the template, so I added that. Now the main part is you need to focus on three things. The three things are: first, you need to have some relevant project which is similar to the project idea that you are applying for. For example, if I am applying for fine tuning LLM related project, I need to have those projects where I've already fine tuned a LLM model. So this is one, you need to have relevant project. And then you need to have some previous experience. Now this previous experience, it can be in terms of if you have done any internship, if you have done any research kind of task within your college, or any volunteer kind of things, right? If you have been part of any volunteer kind of program, you can mention those details as well in the work experience. If not, what you can do is under work experience, you can also add the number of open source contribution you have done. And it doesn't have to be specific to that organization. It can be open PRs, it can be closed PRs, it can also be the merged PRs. So if I have to show you that, so if you see my open source contribution, it is under the work experience itself. You have merged PRs, you have open PRs, and you also have closed PRs. Let me zoom this a bit. So if you see, you have merged PR, you have open PR, and you have closed PRs. So this will come under your work experience. So what was the process? In your proposal, mainly focus on the relevant project. It should be relevant to what project you're applying, so that the keywords are matching, which is very important. Second, the work experience, you can add your internship, you can add your volunteer experience, you can add your open source contribution. Now coming to the timeline. Timeline is the final part that you need to create in your proposal. How can you make your timeline better? There are one thing what you can do is, in your timeline, you can add certain flowchart, so that if you add flowchart in your timeline, it will give you more sense. Okay, this person knows what the project is about. So you will have certain clarity or idea of what project you're supposed to submit. Is there any questions? Okay, I see few questions. I'll be taking those questions. I'll proceed. So in the timeline, first add a flowchart. If in case you're creating a new project, that means it makes sense to create a flowchart. If in case you're not creating a flowchart, and if it is not a new project, and if you're using any existing repository of the organization, what you can do is, you can just mention what you have understood. What are the goals or vision that a organization is working on? Once you mention the goals and objectives of the project, then you can proceed with the timeline. Now in timeline, you have to be very precise. Every single week, what are you doing? You are supposed to mention. So week 1, what you will do, week 2, what you will do, week 3, then again week 4, till end week. Like suppose if you are selecting 175 hours of project, you will roughly have around week 11 to week 12. So you can decide based on that. And once you complete the timeline, it's also better to have certain summary, because not every mentors will go line by line, right? They'll just see the summary of what you have understood. So these three things are very important. So if you are applying for GSoC for the first time, make sure you include these three headings compulsorily: relevant projects, work experience with open source contribution, and then the summary. Now if you look at my Red and Lab report, I had flowchart. So here, if you notice, I add a flowchart. Now I'll show you one more proposal that I submitted for 2023 at CA Microscope. So this is the proposal that I submitted for CA Microscope. If you see, it's the same thing. You have the project information, you have contribution information, and then you have the work experience. Now, why have I added work experience before? There is a difference. When I applied in 2024 organization, I was working on a new project. So if I am working on a new project, it makes sense that I show something relevant project. But when it comes to my 2023 project, I was working on an existing project. So it doesn't make sense for me to add projects first. I will add work experience first. Since the organization was working in the image processing space, I already had some experience in image processing. So these keywords are very important. So if you see, I wrote my research intern at CCCIR, where I was using hyperspectral image compression, and as well as I presented a paper. So the more keywords you give based on the project, the better chances you have. So you understood the difference. The first difference is, if you have a new project, then add relevant projects, then a flowchart. If it is not a new project, and if you are contributing to the existing repository, you can add your work experience first and focus on keywords. Focusing on keywords is very important. And then the same things, you have open source contribution, merged PRs, open PRs, closed PRs, and then I'm writing my projects. Now, if you look at the projects, I'm telling academic projects, not relevant projects. So now it makes sense, right? So I have some experience, I have some academic projects, and I've also presented certain paper. Now this paper was in image processing, what that organization needed. And then, since I told you, right, when it comes to final part of timeline, right, goals. So if you see, I wrote the goals, then I started with the timeline. Previously, I created a flowchart. In this case, since it is an existing repository, you just have to add new feature for it. So just add goals of what you're trying to contribute, and then the timelines remains the same. Write the timeline, then create a summary of it, and then the miscellaneous. So miscellaneous in the sense, how much hours are you ready to commit to the project? You can just make sure that you mention these details. So I hope you understood what are the major requirements. Now, considering these points in your mind, if you have any questions, let's take few questions. And since my health is not doing good and I'm traveling at a very high altitude region, I'll take max to max 8 to 10 questions. If in case you need to communicate more, you can ask your questions in Discord and we will take those questions. So if there are any repeated questions, probably I'll not take those questions. You just have to relate your questions with the same questions. So let's take the questions now. All right. Arpit, so what you can do is, if in case any mentors are not replying, one thing what you can do is you can use GSoC agent. So let me show you GSoC agent. I'm not sure if it's in the sleep mode or not. So this is the GSoC agent. What you can do is here you also have the resources that you can watch in order to create the proposal. I'll give the organization name. I'll give Redden Lab. And my project was related to multilingual LLM. And now I'll upload my proposal. So now what will happen here is, when I created GSoC proposal analyzer, I have multiple agents. I have agent 1, I have agent 2, I have agent 3. So first agent is research agent. What research agent will do is, it will take the information of Redden Labs, it will take the project information, and then it will create certain evaluation criteria that, hey, this is the project, this is the research task, and these are the most essential evaluation criteria. And now that you are uploading the this thing, right, proposal, I have a second agent. In the second agent, I have created a knowledge base, which is your agentic RAG. If you're not comfortable with agentic RAG, if you're hearing this for first time, you have 5 to 6 videos in my channel. So what this agentic RAG will do is, it will look into the subheadings and it will match if the written information is right or wrong. So you have you have research agent, you have analyzer agent. Now, once these two things analyze and gives you the evaluation criteria, and once it analyzes the entire proposal, last you have a feedback agent. Feedback agent will give you certain information on what you need to edit. And if in case you have any feedbacks that you're not getting proper result, you can let me know. I will modify the prompts or the knowledge base accordingly. Now I'll just click on analyze proposal. So as you can see, it's telling it will take few minutes. So first what it will do is, it will gather the information, which is the research agent, and then it will analyze the proposal. Proposal is what you have uploaded. So if you see, it has created the summary of Redden Labs and their multilingual project. So this is from the research agent. And now what it is doing is, it is going to the analyze agent. Analyze agent is where whatever proposal you have submitted, it will look into what are the strengths of it, what are the weakness, and what are the actionable steps that you can take care of. And if in case you have any doubts in this, you can copy this message, paste it in Discord, and tell me what you need to do. And I'll help you out in that. So this is where, if someone whose mentor didn't reply, and if you want to create a proposal, the best thing is have LLMs to give you feedback. So you just have to give a prompt saying, hey, this is my proposal. Act as if you are a judge for a GSoC. And then it will give you certain feedback. So this is one way you can do it. Second way, again, follow this 3-step. These 3-step are the most common step. Projects, relevant experience with open source contribution, and timeline. Timeline should have a flow chart if you are working on a new project. It should have proper objective and goal if you are working on an existing project. So these are the 3 very, very important things. I didn't apply for GSoC and I have no mentor. So how can I get started? So GSoC, everyone are still applying. You have the timeline open now. You just have to head over to GSoC website, and there you have the timeline. You just have to select which organization you need to apply, create a proposal, and then submit. So let me open the timeline sheet. So if you see March 24, the applications process was started. That means you need to create a proposal and you need to submit for some organization. And the last date to do that is April 8. So you still have time. So you still have time to ask questions and get it clarified. Today is just March 8. You have literally 8 to 9 days left. So how do you reply? Let me open my dashboard, summer of code. Let's suppose you want to apply as a contributor. Okay, let me add this screen. I have not added this screen. So this is the timeline that I was talking about. You have March 24 where the proposal submission started. April 8 is where the deadline is there. Now what you need to do is go to the GSoC platform. And here you have registered to become a contributor. I can't register this because I've already contributed 2 times. So let me refresh this. All right, let me open from different account. In GSoC, you can only apply for 2 times. Once you have applied for 2 times, you can't apply for the third time. So if you see here, you have certain information that you need to do. You need to add your information, accept the rules. I'll accept it. I'll accept it. And the name is same. This country you reside in the coding period, just tick this up. For statistical purpose, the following information only Googlers can. Okay. How did you first find out about Google Summer of Code? Just tell word of mouth. And this needs to be detailed. It's not just that you need to fill something. You can write anything. If in case you got to know about GSoC after my YouTube videos, you can also write those details. You can tell from ex GSoCers. I'm just writing it in one word. You just have to expand it. I'm just showing how to apply for GSoC. Have you applied for Google Summer of Code before? Probably in your case, it will be no. Did you participate in Google Coding as a student? No. If you have applied, you can say yes. Are you currently in academic? Probably most of the people who contribute to GSoC are mostly students, so I'll just tell less. And here, you can either pick one or two. It's better you can tell less. I have written code for open source contribution. Here you can tell I have contributed to TensorFlow. I've contributed to Llama Index, Agno. So you can tell which features you have built. I have worked on audio classification for TensorFlow. I added more agentic tools for Agno. So once this is done, you just have to click on register. Okay, there has been an issue. I believe since I'm a mentor, since I'm an org admin, I don't think I can apply as an organization. I mean, as a contributor. So both my account, in one account, I'm a mentor. In another account, I was the contributor. So unfortunately, I can't proceed next. But in your case, once you register, you'll proceed to the next where you're supposed to submit the proposal and add the project details. Let me see if I can show that project details. I'll go to contributor. So this is how your dashboard will look like. Once you register, you will have all the proposals that you have submitted. Now, if I click on Redden Labs, as you can see, you will enter the title, you will enter the description of it, what are the technology, and then you will have the proposal. So if I click on this proposal, it is similar to what I showed you earlier. So this is how you need to apply for Google Summer of Code. Even if you have not applied now, you have time till April 8. How can I connect to my mentor? As I said, cold emailing is a thing. If in case you're unable to connect now, because since you just have 8 to 9 days left, it's probably too late. If not, you just have to use LLM to judge your application. I applied for GSoC, but don't have much skills on my end. Like I know only basic C++, I know Python. I want to try again next year. Any recommendations for learning? Okay, so here is the thing what you need to do. When it comes to applying for GSoC, having basic coding capabilities will not help you out. So you need to work on those projects which has certain case studies. So let me open my Xcolly draw. Right. So if you see here, what you need to do is, if in case you want to apply for next year and if you want to prepare well, first thing is pick an industry where you need to contribute. For example, it can be education, it can be healthcare, it can be retail. You can pick one industry. For example, I pick education. In my case, let's suppose Duolingo. Duolingo have so much of blog articles that they are publishing. I will take inspiration from Duolingo. Then I will use Perplexity and Grok. And what I will do is, given this industry, pick relevant case study projects and engineering blog articles. So what are engineering blog articles? Let me open one of them. So now let's suppose you have Pinterest. Pinterest have their own engineering blog articles where they talk about how they contribute to certain technology. For example, how they build text to SQL. They will have certain flowchart diagrams on how they built it with prompts and also the code base. So what you need to do is, once you pick an industry, use Perplexity or Grok. They have a deep research. I'm launching one video on deep research. I'm currently editing it. So if you see here, deep research video is currently in progress. I just need to edit it. I'll share this video today itself or tomorrow, most probably. And once you do the deep research, get the details of what are the relevant engineering blog articles. Duolingo can have their blog articles. Khan Academy has their blog articles. So then once you have those articles, take that entire data, export it to ChatGPT. So whatever information you have, right, copy that, come to ChatGPT and tell what skills you have. As you mentioned, right, you have skills of C++, Python. Add those details, and then you have the relevant engineering blog articles as well. Now ask ChatGPT to generate 10 case studies, which is use cases with problem statement. Once you have that problem statement, go to GitHub or Kaggle, copy paste. So here you have 10, right? Out of 10, pick just two of them. Out of the two, first project, copy paste from GitHub or Kaggle. And once you do that, next project should be, you have to use Mermaid. I'll show you something. Now let's suppose I come to Claude and I'll show you this process, how it works. I'll open Perplexity. First, what I'll do is, I'll tell, hey, I want to build case study projects for education. Take inspiration from engineering blog articles of Duolingo, Khan Academy, and give me 10 case study projects with article. So I won't use deep research now, but in your case, you're supposed to use deep research. Deep research takes time. So what I'll do is I'll just enter this. It will do a normal search. In your case, you're supposed to use deep research. So this is there. Copy this entire thing. Come to ChatGPT, copy this. Now what you do is tell, hey, above is the interest of projects I need to work. Can you please give me 10 use cases with detailed problem statement? These are my skills. Language, Python. Framework, PyTorch, TensorFlow, LangChain, Llama Index. Give me concise problem statement. So now it will give me certain problem statement. So what I'll do is I will copy this. I will come to Claude. Here you can select concise, paste this. Hey, I need very high level LLD, that is the mermaid flowchart for the above use case. You are an senior developer. Think in that way. Now just ask it to give mermaid flow. So now if you see it as a mermaid flow, now what you can do is take a screenshot of this. If not, what you can do is, let me open on the preview. I'll click on copy. I will open mermaid. As you can see, what I spoke about GSoC agent, right? This is how GSoC agent works. You have a router, you have a research agent, you have an analyzer agent, and then you have a feedback agent. So I use Claude to give me the eye level flow. I do this for every use case. Now what you can do is take a screenshot of this, go to Claude and tell it to generate the code for it. So don't directly copy paste what Claude does. You need to have some understanding of what you're copy pasting. Don't directly dependent on AI. So the flow is pick an industry, generate case study, and out of those case study, now pick the relevant engineering articles and 10 case studies with problem statement. Now out of 10, pick only 2. The first one you just have to copy paste. Second one, go to Claude, generate a mermaid flow, understand the process and build the project. Here is where you need to build the entire project from your understanding end to end. If you do this, if you have 2 projects, you will have confidence to contribute to open source and it will be easy. So it's just about the confidence. That's it. Proposal must be 6 page in organization rules, but no space. When it comes to page numbers, it depends on organization. Some organization prefer 9, some prefers 12. The ideal number of pages is 9. If in case the organization contributor guidelines mention 6, then it should be 6 only. So this depends on the contributor guidelines of each organization. If they don't mention it, then 8 to 9 is a good number. Should I keep my resume in portfolio? Or should I keep my resume in proposal? No, you shouldn't. Sir, I created 3 proposals for GSoC. How can I share with you privately? Okay. So privately, probably what you can do is I'll share my email ID. Just please don't spam. Send your proposal over here. How many times can I take part in GSoC? If you are a student, then 2 times. If in case you're not a student, then it's just 1 time. It's like once you gain certain experience, you can't apply more than 2 times. So 2 is the threshold. So applying for our own problem statement will make more preference. Okay, the process that I showed, right, the Excalibur draw, it was for the question who wanted to apply for the next year. So the projects that you're building is very general. It's like the mindset of how industry works. But if in case you have any preference for any project, I don't think. Prajwal, do you have any follow-up question on this? Like, what specifically do you mean by give more preference? Is it related to GSoC or is it related to general question? Give your Discord or something for query. Let me send the link. So this is the GSoC. My email ID is already added. This is my email ID. You can just mail it over there. This is the question that answers the Mamta's question as well. Prajwal, do you have any follow-up question? Are you specifically talking about GSoC or is it in general? I guess GSoC criteria is changed. We can only take part one time as a GSoC. Then yeah. So last time when I applied in 2023, I had an opportunity to apply for two times. So that's the reason why I was part of GSoC for 2 consecutive years. Yes, that's also a better idea. So what you can do is when I show this flowchart, right? Here, when you're supposed to generate 10 industry level case study project with problem statement, here you can also give your own problem statement of GSoC, and then you can tell to generate 5 relevant projects. So that way you will have some understanding of, okay, this is the project and I can build something similar, which are these 5 projects. So you can take those 5 projects. Out of that one project you can copy paste so that you get some confidence. Once you get that confidence, second project, go to Claude, generate certain flow diagrams, understand the process, what components you need to build, how to build it. Take inspiration, but don't copy paste direct thing, because when you build your first 5 project, it's better to have understanding of what you write. So the reason why I said you to copy first program, it is not to copy from ChatGPT. Just notice what I've written. I've written copy paste from GitHub and Kaggle. The reason why I told GitHub and Kaggle is you will have certain understanding how other people are writing code, so that if you understand, building a second project will be easy for you. The only thing is you need direction on how to build. That direction is the Mermaid flowchart. Is there any API app to generate flowchart or review the flowchart? Claude is best, just use LLMs. If not, you can just open mermaid.live. Mermaid.live is something every single LLMs know how to generate mermaid code. So you can use Gemini, you can use Gemini and Claude are very good when it comes to generating flowchart for Mermaid. So use only between these two. Don't use GPT or don't use Grok or any other model. Just stick with Claude and Gemini for generating the flowcharts. I'll take one last question because again my throat is at max and I have to sleep as well. So we'll take one last question. Did I miss any question? Okay, let's wait for 1 more minute. If in case you have any questions, I'll take that question. If not, what you can do is you can join our Discord channel. So this is the Discord channel server, and you can ask your questions there. Okay, one more question. Which vector database is best for RAG-based chatbot? If you have large number of vectors, then it is Milvus. If you have reasonable number of vectors, then it is either Quadrant or VV8. Faster response, what you can do is you have a concept called binary quantization and scalar quantization. It is supported by Quadrant, VV8, and Milvus. So you can pick between Quadrant and VV8 if it is a negligible number of vectors. If it is very huge, like you have multiple vectors, multiple documents, I guess Milvus is much suitable when it comes to more number of vectors. We write same as ChatGPT, given content it can be identified. Any, see, when it comes to proposal, you have to write from your end. If you use ChatGPT, there are high chances you will get rejected. So make sure you try to write by your side so that you will have more clarity about your project. So this is somewhere I'll tell, don't use any app to create the proposal, because some keywords might be high level. And see, there are two steps that happens. First is the mentors will review your proposal. If mentors ignore those keywords, then it is fine. The second step process is your proposal is passing to certain application that GSoC team has developed. In that case, your proposal might get rejected. So there are two check verification. One is by the mentors. Mentors might shortlist 4 or 5 proposals, and then you will have GSoC application itself. So the Google team have their own application where they will shortlist based on the most relevant candidate. Because you are applying for 3 proposal, and there might be high chances the 3 proposals that you have submitted, in all 3 are accepted. Now, out of these 3, which one is the most relevant? Obviously, the first that you have applied will have more preference, but again, Google have their own ATS kind of system that will review it. So that ATS might track whatever AI related words is. So don't take any risk. So it should be fine if you write proposal from your end rather than sticking it with AI. Don't give any ideas, man. I'm telling not to stick with any AI tool. I am getting 3 to 4K chunks now. So 3 to 4K chunks, like how big is the PDF? Like, is it 100 pages? Is it 500 pages? And do you have multiple PDFs? Can you give me that information? Sir, I sent my proposal on Gmail. Please review them. Sure, I'll let you know by tomorrow because I'll go to sleep after this talk. I'm not feeling well. So by tomorrow I'll review the proposals, whichever has been sent. If in case I get more than 5 proposals that has been sent to my email, probably I'll take 2 to 3 days of time. But if it is just less than 3, then probably it will be within tomorrow. I'm crawling website. Okay. In that case, you can use Quadrant itself. You can use Quadrant with binary quantization. And also when it comes to chunking, right, there are different ways you can chunk your data. You have semantic chunking where when it comes to crawling data, there might be chances same relevant chunks have been already repeated. So you can use semantic chunking as well. But in terms of vector database, you can go with Quadrant. All right, guys, this is it for today's session. I actually wanted to keep it just 30 minutes, but it's been 37 minutes. If you have any questions, don't forget to add your messages in Discord, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that we can share more videos. And as I already said, I'll be sharing one video on deep research. Deep research is a very powerful tool. Every single student, researcher, and non-technical folks needs to use deep research, and that video is mainly focused on that. Okay, I'll take this last question. I don't have any internship or work experience. Build projects. As I said, right? When you say I don't have any internship, pick certain industry. If in case you're interested in retail, pick retail as your industry. Then focus on 2 to 3 projects. Then try to cold email those industry which are working in the retail domain. For example, let's suppose if I pick e-commerce, you can look for those startups that are working in e-commerce space. Don't look for high level startup. Look for those startups which are existing from past 2 or 3 years, and then apply for them in order to ask for internship. The only thing is you need to have very good project, and whatever I showed in the Excalibur draw, you just take this screenshot of this. This is very important. So here, when you pick an industry, make sure your next pitch should be, okay, once I build this project, where can I apply for internship? Considering that in mind, pick the industry. If it is finance related, pick finance. If it is education, education. So based on where you need to apply, build 3 to 4 projects. Because as long as you don't have any project, you will not have confidence. So once you have confidence, you will have more open source contribution. If you have more open source contribution, you don't have to worry about internship. So that's the process. And I'll probably take a leave now. If you have any question, don't forget to ask in the Discord. Thank you.